YouTube, pipe community, YouTube pipe smokers, and people on YouTube that like to watch others smoke pipes. I'm the Night Piper. Smoking a Radice. That's from Italy. I got it from Briar Blues. If you haven't checked out Briar Blues website, you're missing out. And you're way behind the times. I myself am an insider in Briar Blues. And it feels very good. Tonight I'm smoking some, does that focus? There we go. Can you read that? It's from Milan Tobacconist. All the information's right there on the screen. It's a tobacco called Chartwell. I got a big sample of these tobaccos. This is more of a Virginia English. Pretty good. So the reason for the video is I'm going to knock out a couple of video responses. Now and maybe a story. Well, you're like, oh, aren't you supposed to do those separately? No. Hope you enjoyed the golf footage to get this thing started. As you notice, then it was 81 degrees in Alabama. Now I'm back here in Music City and it's cold. So I'm sitting here in front of the fire. Everybody else is going to bed. Kilted Piper Steve and Miss Cathy from Oklahoma. I think they're having a 300 people watch your videos giveaway. And they wanted to know what person has inspired you. Could be a friend, could be a family member, could be a total stranger. But who has inspired you? That was pretty simple for me. The person that has mostly inspired me is my father. He's also the one that got me into pipe smoking. It's his fault. My father's name was Dr. Joseph C. Knight. And yes, he was a medical doctor. He wore one of the light coats. He didn't put his name on it, so he didn't walk around with his name on it that says MD. He was just a doctor. Had a bunch of old patients, so I figured he was a good doctor. What did he teach me in life? Well, if you didn't know who my father was, you wouldn't know that he was a doctor. Didn't drive a flashy car. We didn't grow up in a flashy house. He taught me the lesson of humility. Be grateful for the things that you have, as Doug would say. My dad was a pretty religious person, not too over the top religious. But he would pray with his patients. You don't hear about that too much these days. No, my father has since passed away. But you didn't see him, and very rarely did you see him in the newspaper at some ball or some party. Never had a basketball tournament or anything like that named after him. You never saw his name in the paper for the good things that he did. You never knew who he donated to. He never wanted that to get out. I did not know anybody that did not like my father. He was an avid fisherman and hunter, and he was an avid golfer. And he was a tobacco user, mainly pipes and occasional chew of tobacco on the golf course or out in the hunting field. My dad really cared for the less fortunate and tried to get them employment the best he could. He had a lot of friends all throughout the community. He cared for people. He didn't become a doctor to make money. He became a doctor to try to help people. Because he had that talent. And he was good at what he did. Regrettably, my father passed away from cancer. Had cancer in his kidney and it spread. And it was pretty tough at his funeral because we had to stand up and greet people. And they said it was a record at the funeral home of people that came. And to hear the stories that they said about my father, that he would get up in the middle of the night and go to someone's house that was sick. And this was way after house calls, but he still did it. My father had a great sense of humor. Some of his jokes were funny. They were funnier when they weren't funny. And after my father passed, the road going into the new hospital in our hometown is named Joe Knight Drive, which he would have hated that. I'm proud of it. I don't like to drive over there too much because it makes me emotional. My father's best attribute, as far as I'm concerned, was that he was a good father. Took me everywhere. I come from a family of strong women. He taught me how to migrate with strong women, which has been very helpful today because my fiance is also undoubtedly a strong woman. Father never said we're better than anybody else. And to make it look like I wasn't the typical doctor's son, he gave me crappy jobs and I had to work my butt off. So manual labor's nothing. So the answer to that's my dad. I watched some of Cathy and Steve's videos. They remind me of a lot of people I used to know. Just good people. I've never met them, but you can just tell. And I congratulate you on how many ever people watch you. It's going to be obviously much more. And that pipe rope is somewhat amazing. The other video response that I have is to Armchair Piper Ed. There's a different character. He's very funny. He likes to sit in his armchair. Ed wants to know what our pipe smoking routine is. What are you doing, Cat? I got a cat that wants to attack the camera. He's really wanting to attack the camera. I wish you could see. Here, let me turn this over. See if you can see that. That is Lou Holtz. Hopefully you're seeing that. Of course, we all know who that is. BR, say hi. BR. Yeah. All right. Get this back where it belongs. Ed wants to know what my pipe. Oh, he sees the microphone on top. The microphone's big and furry. He thinks it's another cat, probably, don't you? That's just a microphone, you know. Ed wants to know what our pipe smoking routine is. Well, I'm a pretty spontaneous person, Ed, so the only real constant pipe I smoke is on my second cup of coffee in the morning. And I usually smoke Presbyterian. Sometimes early morning pipe, sometimes Belfast Breakfast, sometimes Orla Golden Slices. Very rarely do I smoke a Scudo. Now, if it's sunny and pretty outside, I'm out playing golf and usually partake of smokeless tobacco when I'm on the golf course. If it's rainy, I'll have a couple of those. And then at night, I like to close things out with a pretty strong Balkan. So congratulations to you, Ed. I don't know how many you have, but you'll have plenty more. Quite the pipe collection, quite the fella, quite the humor. Drink of choice tonight is, of course, Cincinnati tap water, otherwise known as Kroger mineral water. Got a few comments last night on our live stream. Of course, that's the National Mafia Wednesday night, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. Got a few comments on my haircut. Now, my fiance had made fun of a couple of my golf pictures because my beard was a little bit crooked. So I said I'll show her. I went up and shaved the whole beard and I shaved my head. In which I was upstairs and downstairs I heard someone yell, "We're getting married," at the top of their voice. So I don't know if she approves of the haircut. Regardless of that, it reminded me of back when I was in college. I joined the ROTC in college, and you might wonder why. Well, the answer is simple. I joined the ROTC because if you were on the drill team, you got a free trip to Mardi Gras. Me being a drunk in college, that was like the golden mecca. I was like, sign me up. Anyway, I started wearing my hair short and would go down to the square and get my hair cut, and the haircuts are usually $5 to $7, which is a little high for my budget, considering most of my money went to beer. One day we were practicing outside for the drill team, and someone said, "Knight, there's a guy just off the square who will cut your hair for $2.25. And I said, "That is a bargain." So they told me where to find this guy. And I went to this guy to get my hair cut in the afternoon. And the first red flag was that he was sitting in an empty barber shop. 4 chairs. He was sitting in the middle, staring at the wall. He was an older gentleman, probably in his 70s or late 60s. Anyway, I went in and got my hair cut. They did the shave on the neck. And he cut it wonderfully. And it was $2.25. Not too much conversation, and I left. I'm like, I've hit the gold mine, man. Second time I went in, everything seemed fine. Showed up, he was staring at the wall, no TV, nothing. And he was cutting my hair, and he said, John F. Kennedy and his brother Robert used to get their hair cut here. And I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. Knowing that probably wasn't true, because there's no reason for them to come to Middle Tennessee to get their hair cut by this guy. And for what my hair is looking like, it doesn't look anything like the Kennedys. And he said some other things, and I paid and left, and everything was fine. Next time I went, same situation, sitting there staring at the wall, nobody else in the barber shop. Starts cutting my hair, and he says, "You know what? John F. Kennedy and his brother Robert used to get their hair cut here." We're not going to the same reaction. I'm like, wow, that's interesting. That's so cool. Thank you for sharing that. And then he took it a step farther and said, so did J. Edgar Hoover and his guys. Then he went into some conspiracy things while cutting my hair. I didn't think too much about it. I paid him my $2.25 and I left. The next time I went and got my hair cut, same situation, staring at the wall. I come in and say hello. He starts cutting my hair, and he said, he asked me what kind of haircut I wanted and everything. And then he says, "You know what?" And I was like, "What?" "John F. Kennedy and his brother Robert used to get their hair cut here." And I was like, "Yes, sir, you've told me that." He said, "You know who else got their hair cut here?" I acted like I didn't know. He's like, "J. Edgar Hoover and his boys used to get their hair cut here." He's like, "Wow, that's awesome." And he's like, "But that's not all." And I was like, "Really? That's not all?" He's like, "No, that's not all. Al Capone and his boys used to come get their hair cut here quite often." Al Capone and his boys used to come to Murfreesboro, Tennessee, where I grew up, to get their hair cut. And he told me something that he shouldn't have told me after that. He's like, it was Capone's boys that would come in. When they would walk in the door, they would stomp their feet twice before getting in the barber chair. And I was like, really? Why would they do that? He said it was cold. They come in and they stomp their feet twice. And I wouldn't cut their hair. I'd tell them to leave because I knew Hoover. So the next time I go get my hair cut, of course, the first thing I do when I walk in there is I stomp my feet twice. And he said, "Young man, I'm going to have to ask you to leave." I'm like, "Come on, mister." I forgot his name. I was like, I'm kidding. You told me that story. I was just joking around. He's like, "No, sir. I know who you are. I know where you come from. You need to leave." So we bickered back and forth for 45 minutes. This is right before Mardi Gras. I had to get my hair cut because I was going down to March in the Parade. And I bickered with him for 40 to 50 minutes, and he finally relented. And he cut my hair very angrily. Moved my head back and forth, getting it done fast. You could tell he was angry in hell. Well, I didn't think that was enough, so I went back to him and I saw him walking around the square. And he was walking by himself. And he was talking to people that weren't there. He was waving at people and pointing at people that were not there. So I decided maybe that I should pay $5 and just go on around the square. When I look back on how gullible I was as a college student and how stupid I was, really. I mean, how many red flags you need before you know not to get your hair cut this place? Anyways, I hope you join us next Wednesday for the Nashville Mafia at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. Hopefully this weather will warm up so we can get out to the golf course. So I hope you're well. Thank you for sticking around for 20 minutes or so. And